Aries got here, and it's time to talk about Mashle. Or probably this episode was a bit more of a therapy session that the characters got over here during their fights, and I really liked it. It kind of reminded me a bit of Fairy Tail in a way. I feel like Mash, while he's very strong, especially physically, I think like his main power is his attitude towards the world and towards other, even though he's facing them as enemies at the beginning, still feels like he changes them by the way he's. And I know that's very cliche, some people might not like that, but for me it more than works. I always love characters like this is why I also like Fairy Tail, Demon Slayer. Also, by the way, Tanjiro behaves with the demons. Not everything needs to be edgy, even though we have a Beast Razor as a name in this episode. But yeah, I feel like Mash's actual power is his personality. But the fights were pretty fun over here, so let's get into it. Now, at the beginning, we have two fights in this episode. The first one being Wreath, Model, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, versus Lance. And this was a very interesting fight. Both of the fights were more like clashing of ideals in a way, and their upbringings, personalities, how they view the world and everything. But here at the start we have Wreath and Lance being very similar in a way, and they got to an understanding towards the end. But before that, we have the actual fight with Wreath using mud powers and clones, and Lance was having a bit of a hard time at the beginning because of one trick. His gravity wasn't really working properly, and Wreath was being an asshole, very preachy at the start by his own worldviews, how everything is about strength and value and so on. But I really like how they delved a bit deeper as to why he is the way he is. But Lance just, no, I don't care, I know what I am, I know what I have to do, my conviction is stronger and you are second rate. But this is where Lance kind of starts taking control of the fight, even starts sending him sideways with his gravity. So there's a lot more to the powers in the series, not just individual like with gravity. You can just slam people down, can control them probably sideways and all over the place. Reminds me a bit of Eden Zero, how that works there. And Wraith was very interesting here, but he also underestimating Lance quite a lot, because Lance started figuring out his trick with him using his powers to use the mud as a cushion against the gravity. But Lance just started throwing rocks at him. Very simple but very effective, and he actually had to dodge. But this is where we see a bit of how fucked up the world honestly is in MASH. Like, there's a lot of comedy in the series, a lot of comedy with the characters, gags and everything, the fights, the cream puffs, the jokes, all of that. But we've seen it even in Lance's flashbacks with how they treated his sister and some other alluding things along here. But we saw it probably the most in this episode, even with Reese, how his father brought him up, raised him just to see the value in power, magic, be somebody. Just treated him as trash, to say the least, would be an understatement there. And this is why Reese is the way he is right now. And just saying, I feel like the parents that we've seen so far, Lance's parents are shit, Reese's parents are shit. We have Mash's adoptive one has been really good. Even the cop has been better than the two actual families that we've gotten in the series right now, which shows how the entire world is very wrapped around the worth of magic of free. But back during the fight, also get a bit more depth to the power system with Wreath using this mud monster, summon, minotaur, bull, whatever you wanna call it. Apparently magic has tiers. Now this is a second, that's how they use the terminology here for it, that only two-liners can use it. Now this got me thinking, when we're gonna get to the three-liners, is there gonna be a tier above that? Because right now it seems like the power system is gonna get a bit more complex, and this is where we see how Reese, his entire personality has been kind of warped by his father, his upbringing, environment, and saying that your magic determines your worth, and his father instilled that into him. But this is where I started liking the power system. Like, is Lance gonna defeat him without using his, or is he also gonna be able to use his? And I liked his a lot more of it, with Graviol seconds, summons these pillars with chains and kind of just obliterates that Minotaur, pulling it in all of different directions, gravity from the pillars, and making it rupture, explode very easily there. Now Wrath was in denial, he couldn't believe he lost, and just all of the flashbacks showing how much of a scum his father was. But this is where I think Lance also has a similar power to Mash, even returns a book to read saying they bond a bit over their own upbringing. Similar situation with Lance, how his parents also view the same value, but giving him some very important words, which I feel like a lot of people need to hear this, not just in anime, and I know it's cliche, but sometimes parents, friends, whoever is close to you, you need some acknowledgement, some respect, and something very simple that somebody takes for granted could be very important to somebody. And Lance telling him, I respect all of the effort you put in, and that struck very close to home, even to myself and even to read over here. And it's very important for people to hear even something as small as this. Maybe they haven't heard it their entire life, and I'm really curious what's going to happen with Reese after this encounter with Lance here. But now to the main fight. We have Mash versus Abyss Razor, and Abyss Razor is able to use this magic Accelerize to accelerate his own speed over here. But this is where we have a bit of a clash of ideals and upbringings in a way, with Abyss being scorned his entire life because of his eye, and Mash kind of being loved, even though you don't know his full past. Was he abandoned? What happened? Who are his real parents? And so on. But at least he was loved. He has parents right now here. And Abyss trying to use Lemon as a hostage, putting a timer on the fight, 30 minutes until she gets all of her magic drained, so she's gonna be without magic. But got me thinking, if you actually drain somebody's magic, it feels like the way he put it is permanent. There's no way to replenish it or get it back. It doesn't recharge or anything along those lines. It's limited. I'm curious how that works. Or was it just that device just fully drains it? Maybe something similar happened to Mash when he was a baby. I don't know, something to think about. But this is why I like Mash, just the way he fights. And I like overpowered main characters, especially something like this. You have all of these techniques, plans, strategies, but I like when somebody just overpowers their opponent with just sheer violence that we had in this episode. This is where we have but Mash was also getting very wounded though, let me be honest. 1,000 cuts, death by 1,000 cuts, so many cuts on him. He lost probably a ton of blood there, but he even used that to his advantage to catch Abyss when he got stabbed in the stomach. Let me just use my muscles to block your sword here. Let me keep it stuck in my stomach. This is the first time he caught him and headbutts him and actually breaks his mask, and the reaction was priceless. Of course, Abyss was shocked, but he was more shocked after what came after the mask, because Mash is like, that eye, do you know it? And Mash is it bloodshot? You can make that argument, sure, it looks bloodshot. But the humor, that innocence, that naivety that Mash has, like, it has a great effect even during the fights. And this is where you get a bit of history with Abyss Razor. Because of the eye, he was scorned his entire life over here in Mash, doubling down on that, apologizing because the eye has no effect on him. Kind of that disarms you in a way, especially during a fight. And this is where the fight escalates a bit with Abyss using his second magic, Excel second, and I don't know how to put it, like a small domain expansion with arrows down and up, and it's used to steal the speed from an opponent and giving it to him. But you can be fast, like you can be really fast, but when you just face overwhelming Giga Chad strength and Mash just even in slow motion just slamming the ground, breaking it, kind of making like a Grand Canyon just to limit Abyss's movement, rushes him and gets to him, catching him for a second time. And this is where we have I feel like the episode went ragdoll after this for Abyss. Mash starts using his full muscle magic over here, starts naming every muscle. One gut punch sends him through to Narnia, even breaks the domain. Just beats him with pure violence, slamming him left, right, center, everywhere. Even stops his sword with one hand there and bitch slaps him across the hallway there and just keeps going on him. So that was just violent winning straight up. And I loved it. I'm having so much fun with Mashle over here, and this is where I feel like they bonded a bit with Abyss, lamenting that wishing he was born normal, thinking of his life, and we see how fucked up his parents were also. They locked him in a basement, treated him like not even an animal. You treat an animal better, let alone your own kid. They kept him there, even at one moment I think it was his mother tried to kill him. Just shitty parents. Yeah, and kind of gave him a complex, same way as Reed had a complex about his value. Abyss thought maybe I shouldn't have been born, and when somebody thought of him as needed, even as a tool, referring to Abel, because if we're gonna find out how Abel met with Razor, he saw something to live for, even if it was somebody else using him, just comparing to how his parents treated him. Yeah, I can't blame him, but Mash is different, sympathizing with him a bit, empathizing. Let's become friends. Very simple. I know it's very cliche, but even then I'll be saying, no, even your opinion is going to change in one day because of this eye. It gives him a warning. You can't defeat Abel. But yeah, Mash, of course, is not gonna listen to that warning, and I can't wait for the fight. Mash saying I have to wallop him. And parting words, I won't change my mind. Let's be friends and let's have a cream puff. So cream puffs bringing people together. I wish it was that simple. But yeah, overall a pretty fun episode, but I feel like this was more of a relationship, so to say, episode than about the fights here, upbringings, how everybody views the world, and just showing how much fun Mashle can be, but also the shitty side of the world that we have right now. And I'm glad we're getting slowly more into the serious things, even more after those escaped convicts. So yeah, I'm excited for next episode. Hopefully it's gonna be the Abel fight. I need more Mash, just violence, unga bunga, give it to me. So yeah, I'm really curious what you guys thought about the episode. What do you think about the fights, but also the two villains, so to say, that we had in this episode after we found out their backstory? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. Make sure to check out the podcast Because Anime, link in the description. Keep enjoying Mashle. I'm gonna see you again on the next one. Bye bye.